that shapes it. Tonight, we cross the invisible line that decides destinies, the line economists rarely mention, but every citizen feels: credit divide. The world runs on credit, but credit does not run evenly. It flows thick in some nations, thin in others, and dry in many. This is the quiet divide, the one that separates builders from buyers. Alone in Seoul builds a factory. Alone in Lagos buys a shipment. 2 signatures, 2 documents, 2 futures. In 1960, Korea and Ghana were economic twins. Same GDP, same population realities, same ambitions. Today, one designs the microchips inside your phone, the other imports the phone. One exports value shaped by its people, the other imports value shaped elsewhere. They both made progress, but only one learned to fund its own creators. This is not a story about laziness or culture or resource blessings. It's a story about trust flows, the hidden infrastructure directing the global economy. When you follow money, you learn who buys. When you follow trust, you learn who builds. 2 nations entered the same century. One built belief inward, the other borrowed belief outward. A nation's future isn't shaped by how much it earns, but who it dares to lend to. Because at its heart, the credit divide isn't economic, it's architectural. It's a blueprint, one invisible line drawn across the world. Who is trusted to imagine, and who must ask for permission? After war and occupation, Asia made a bold decision. Money must create, not wait. They turned banks into tools of national ambition. Credit became a weapon, a coordinated push toward the future. Korea, Taiwan, and Japan nationalized banks. They aimed loans like arrows at the industries they needed: steel, shipbuilding, electronics. If a factory failed, it wasn't a scandal, it was tuition. Meanwhile, Africa was taught another gospel: privatize, liberalize, stabilize, lower your risks, stay safe, don't aim, adjust. In Asia, loans were bets on tomorrow. In Africa, loans were receipts for yesterday. Asia built banks for makers, development banks, export credit agencies, cooperative micro-lenders. Africa inherited banks for traders, short-term deposits, foreign currency reserves, letters of credit. One trained credit to walk toward factories, the other trained credit to sit behind counters. The result? By the 1980s, the paths were locked. Asia's banks nourished its industries until exports nourished the banks. Africa's banks nourished governments and importers until debt nourished itself. Profit is easy. Progress is engineered. Graph diverges sharply through 1980, 2000, 2020. May in Vietnam unwraps her new CNC machine. A state-backed loan paid for it. Kofi in Accra stares at his silent welder. A state-backed interest rate killed it. She got time. He got terms. Trust changes time itself. When trust is cheap, time expands. When trust is expensive, time collapses. This is how nations grow apart without ever moving. 2 human beings, May and Kofi, born thousands of miles apart but bound to the same global system. Not by money, by belief. Every loan is a mirror. It reflects what a nation believes about its own people. May signs a loan at 4% over 7 years. She laughs. The bank and I, we're basically partners. Kofi is offered 18% over 2 years. The officer asks, "Collateral?" He whispers, "Just my work." She gets a bridge. He gets a stopwatch. Interest rate comparison. Vietnam SME loan, 4 to 6%. Ghana SME loan, 18 to 33%. Most viewers freeze for a moment right here. This is the pattern break that renews attention. Trust is not a feeling. It's an economic element, as real as steel, as powerful as oil, as foundational as time. Where trust flows thick, innovation breathes. Where trust thins, dreams dry. In Asia, 85% of small manufacturers have credit access. In Africa, fewer than 20%. But the difference is not capital, it's confidence. They don't lack ideas, they lack permission. Colonial banks were designed to collect, not create, and systems rarely forget their original purpose. The past never leaves, it just opens accounts under new names. But something is changing. Digital cooperatives, blockchain trust scores, community-backed loans, peer guarantees. These are not trends, they are rebellions. Every time someone believes in what they can build, the credit divide narrows. Kofi messages May through a manufacturing forum. "Could a factory like yours ever exist here?" She replies, "Only when your banks see you the way you already see yourself." Every economy is a building, a structure held up by beams and choices. And the strongest nations? They didn't just build factories, they built belief systems. In Asia, trust was engineered. In Africa, it was outsourced. Japan, after ruin, built MITI, a compass pointing credit toward the future. Korea created the Economic Planning Board, a war room for national ambition. Taiwan created agricultural credit cooperatives, financing its transition from farming to high-tech. They treated failure as the interest on progress. Africa met consultants from Western institutions carrying pre-written blueprints. Privatize, liberalize, let the market decide. But markets are reflections of history, not replacements for it. When you build a house with borrowed blueprints, the doors never fit your people. By the 1990s, Asia had state-backed policy banks. Africa had privatized banks measuring stability over growth. Asia measured success in output, Africa in compliance. Asia financed risk, Africa avoided it. Risk is the raw material of trust. Credit to GDP ratio, East Asia, approximately 70%. Africa, approximately 25%. China, perfected patient capital. Roads first, profits later. Africa was taught the opposite. Profits first, confidence later. But confidence cannot be imported. It must be cultivated. The strongest currency on earth is a citizen trusted to create. This is not philosophy. It's architecture. Kofi unlocks his shop before dawn. The air smells like metal and possibility. Across the ocean, May steps into a new assembly line, building machines she hopes to export to Africa. Two lives on opposite ends of the world, but now inching toward the same future. Trust travels faster than money and costs nothing to send. Africa is rewriting the blueprint. Pan-African development banks, women-led SME credit platforms, community-guaranteed lending circles, blockchain-backed trust networks, mobile money lending ecosystems. These aren't fixes, they're foundations. When credit returns to builders, so does destiny. Kofi joins a digital co-op using blockchain trust scores. For the first time, his factory buys a machine from May. The loop begins to close, not through charity, but through belief. A nation's wealth is not its reserves. It's the number of hands it dares to fund. Every builder you trust is a future you finance. The richest nations didn't grow by printing money. They grew by printing belief. And belief, when compounded, creates civilizations. That truth is still waiting to be cashed in. But the real question is this: when the next century is written, who will own the currency that matters most, the money in circulation or the trust that built it?